Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. We're going to be talking about the XMP configuration that I did. I took the time to actually wait and keep on testing this either with benchmarking with Gravity Mark, actually rendering with the KDN Live, playing several of the games for hours, I would say, between all of them. Actually, there's a couple of videos that I uploaded. Those were done with the XMP um, 1 in this case because you got 1 and 2. But I was able to get them to my specific memory to the DDR6000, which is the one advertised for them using XMP. So there's a bunch of things that you can do with voltage. There's a bunch of things that you can do between the CPU and the RAM. If you're an overclocker, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, or you're old school like me, and I don't mean deep overclocking, but just certain things that we did more than 10 years ago on the BIOS, um, then you know that there's specific input fields that you can change in the BIOS to just clock a little bit that obviously you're taking life away from the RAM and all that, but in this case we got years, okay? So let me explain everything here. So let me go to my settings. Let's go to about, and let me show you the first thing. So it's in this particular case, it's one of the worst ones that you can find, which is 4 slots, not 2, which is the typical thing that it's advertised by Asus, MSI, Gigabyte, all those. In this case, it's 4. It's 4 RAMs, 4 slots of 32 gigabytes each. That gives me the 128. And the problem with that is that when I started using this a year ago, it, it basically you're gonna find a bunch of videos saying that it's impossible to sync properly all 4 at the highest level. And you can even see in my channel that I made one where I was able to get to, I think it was 5,200 or 5,600 up to that point. And if I tried to push it more, it would fail. Another factor that pushed me to not play around with that was the fact that the moment that the firmware on this Z790 Hero of Asus, when they updated the firmware, I forgot what's it was the 1600 versions or I forgot which one it was. I was not able to achieve 5600. Okay, I was not even able to get to 5200. I had to stay at 4200. And it was not a big deal. Okay, it doesn't actually impact me a lot. But somebody asked, I would say, a couple of weeks back about what has happened with Asus, what has happened with the fact of trying to overcome basically 4 DDR5s at the same time. Uh, uh, right now in 2024, for example. So I'm doing this video. If you see this motherboard, I'm doing this video with this firmware, 1801. I'm doing 4 RAMs. Okay. One of my videos actually talks about the specific RAMs that I bought, but if you go to, let's do a DMID code here, type memory, and you'll be able to see that it's a gSkill. It's gSkill and the F5 6000 G3 blah 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 blah. You can see the memory that's running right now. Okay, in everything in regards to that, that's one. There's 4 of them. Okay, there you go, 4 of them. Um, and what did I do? What did I do to be able to use them properly? Okay, let's go to the images that I did. So here's the layout. You go to the BIOS, and here you can see the memory running at 6000. Obviously, at the top of this, you can see you should be able to see the XMP configuration. Set it to XMP 1. At least that's what I got to at that point, because testing, every time I did a voltage change, it took me like an hour to 2 hours to test each time I did a change. This took days to test properly. I did the testing at night, and we're talking about days. It's been a long time since I've been testing this, okay? Just to provide this video for you guys. So, well, with that said, subscribe and like and leave all that crap in here. But basically, I'm just saving you days or I don't know. I'm saving you a lot of time here. The only changes that I did on this motherboard were I put a XMP 1. The DRAM frequency here, I set it to 6,000, the maximum that was advertised by the actual RAM. And then I scroll down here, scroll down. If you scroll down, you get to this area. If you keep on scrolling down like crazy, you get to this area. And I started playing with the minimum and maximum that you can actually set here for the VDD and VDDQ. Do note that you have to change the high DRAM voltage to enable. You can't leave it in auto because the AI, well, the motherboard will just set it to the wrong one. You gotta set it to enable, and then you can put this here. In my particular case, it was this values, 1.48, 1.48, and then when you go to advanced memory voltages, you change the voltage here per per slot to by per PMIC, okay? And you change the memory controller voltage here at the top to 1.45 for my specific case. Okay, for my specific case. Those are the only changes I was able to do. So, it might, like if you go overboard here too high, that thing will just crash immediately, especially on Linux. If you go too low, you're gonna see the crashing happening once you're inside, or basically the computer will just shut down. Here, it'll lock when you're doing mem test, for example, if you go too low or too high. So this is like the sweet spot for it. And for my specific 6,000 speed, for my specific one, again, the gSkill that I'm talking about, the F5. So it's 1.45 here volts, 1.48, 1.48 here, and by per PMIC here. Those are the only changes that I did. I started taking a bunch of pictures here. This is when I was testing the 5600, and I was able to achieve stability there. I started playing a couple of games, and I was like, maybe I can go up a little bit more. Okay, you can see here the speeds, especially the memory one, 28.9, and when we were able, well, here you can see the model that I was using. Well, and the percentage and where we are testing all that. But when we were able to get it to this is the maximum that I was able to get it to, 6,000. Well, you can see that the speed, the memory speed, got to 30 gigabytes per second. I was able to achieve stability. I waited for the whole test to finish, and everything passed with flying colors. The last videos that I've done have been using the 6,000 speed. And by using the 6,000 speed on, let me make this super bigger so you can actually see it. I was able to jump at the GPU level, because I'm guessing it's helping a little bit here and there. I was able to jump from the 78,000, just, like 50 additional points here, 50, 60 additional points. That's all the impact that I did there. In regards to FPS, I didn't notice anything bigger and all that. I did notice with KDN Live that the same recording that I did at 4,200 went from 12, I think it's 12 minutes or 13 minutes, something like that, and it lowered like 3 additional minutes. So if you're rendering and stuff like that, that uses RAM a lot, that's where you're gonna be seeing faster timers. Okay, for games that use a lot of RAM for loading, maybe shading that's not using the GPU. I don't know if that happens, but things that actually use the RAM more, that's where you see the benefit. Apart from that, Stability 100%. You know that I'm very picky about stability. That's why making this video or talking about this video took uh, many days. Let's put it like that. And I really hope the video helps. You can go back on the video and just watch the specific ones that I share there, so you can tune it yourself. Here the settings, here the clock speeds that you can see and latency and everything there. Okay, XMP1, the BIOS version 1801, DRAM frequency there, the voltage here, the voltage there, voltage everywhere. Oh my God, and by per PMIC, save that puppy, run the mem test that it's included in the Asus, or run the mem test on the Ubuntu, for example, or Arch, and test it through there. And then if everything goes well for you, great. If it's not, my recommendation is either lower here a little bit. When I say a little bit, I'm talking about the 8. Okay. And for the memory control voltage, you have to actually literally check out your motherboard. Okay. So to be on the safe side. So typically the manual or Asus will provide this for you, memory control voltage. The safe area actually started at 1.45. So I'm in the minimum area for the safe um, area for that voltage, basically. Again, I gotta play safe here. Hope the video helps. Big hugs to everybody and think positive as always. Bye.